easier, actually. Perfect.
Okay,
You have to give it to me. Did you record it on your computer or to the cloud?
to the cloud.
Okay, good. That way I can easily get it later without pinging you. So
Okay, got
awesome.
it.
Ping you. I'm sure I would like to go out to coffee with you or whatever beverage of choice, but
Well, we will.
Yay! Okay, well, everyone, thank you so much for coming. If you were wondering where you are, you're in the Lot Mutual Aid group. This is our monthly chat. And how it works is every month or so, I basically, when I'm putting my daughter to bed, I skim through cool libraries of things around the world. And I'm like, oh, maybe they'll come talk. And then I message them. And sometimes amazing volunteers say yes. So we had the same thing happen today, where Acacia, Rebecca, and Harold are all from the Brooklyn Public Library, woohoo, down in New York, which is in the US. And they said yes to coming and chatting about their super cool collection. I asked them to chat with us for a number of reasons. One, I just think what they're doing is really interesting because they're a larger library system than some of us, and probably from some of us, a smaller system, maybe, although you're pretty large. I think it's really interesting to see how that works differently in different locations and what you may or may not do. Specifically, they'll tell you a lot more, but I called them out because I quickly noticed they had a really extensive music collection, which Harold, I'm gonna ask you some questions about. I know you're ready for my spit question. It's coming to you. So any tips you can give me? Because I go to University of YouTube to tune our instruments and I could improve. Um, so, and then Acacia and Rebecca have started some really neat initiatives with tools and stuff that, again, I think we could all learn a lot from. So, without further ado, I think I'm going to turn it over because, again, these wonderful humans volunteered to give us a presentation. So I'm going to let them take it away with our sincere
Yes.
gratitude.
Awesome. Oh, should we go ahead and start?
You can go ahead and start. And then
All
that
right.
I know we have oodles of questions, but we love pictures. So
Okay.
having you share some pictures and context is really
Are we good? Can you see us? Can you see our screen? All right.
looks
Okay.
great.
Sorry, everybody.
Yep.
After 1,000 years, we think we get our Zoom tech speaker notes taken care of. So we're going old school with our paper presentation. So good morning. My name is Acacia Thompson. I'm the Environmental Justice Coordinator at the Greenpoint Library and Environmental Education Center for Brooklyn Public Library.
And good morning. I am Rebecca Cowley. I'm the Assistant Branch Manager at the Greenpoint Library and Environmental Education Center, also known as
the Geek, which I don't know, GEC, Geek.
Yeah.
Either one. Just to give you reference where we are in New York City, you'll see at the top of the map, that's Greenpoint, and that's in relation to sort of, you can see Queens and Manhattan, and sorry we left up Bronx and Staten Island. Though the GEC is a neighborhood branch library with 13 staff members, we do many of our programs through the lens of the environment, and my work is centered around creating environmental educational programming, promoting sustainability, and informing our patrons about crucial environmental justice issues locally, in the city, abroad, everywhere. And so this is particularly relevant as Greenpoint is on top of the third largest oil spill in American history and has a rich backstory of industrialized pollution. And we'll get to the tool library in just a minute, but we want to share context as to where we are and how we received the financial support to start our tool library. And so oil refining as we know it was developed on the Newtown Creek with Greenpoint and Maspeth on the banks of the Newtown Creek in the northwesternmost section of Brooklyn. In the 19th century, our neighborhood was home to the 5 black arts, and that's oil refining, printing, cast iron manufacturing, glass and pottery making. They were worked by immigrants and the processes polluted in the extreme. This is before the Clean Air and Clean Water Acts of the 1970s, obviously. So they were just dumping everywhere. These industries, along with chemical manufacturing, glue production, and fat rendering plants, created an ecological disaster by polluting the waterways, the air quality, the soil, and affecting the health and the wellness of the people who lived here, and still do to this day. We still experience a lot of these issues. And so, long ecological disaster short, in 2010, the community sued ExxonMobil, the leaseholders of the leaking underground tanks that caused the 30 million gallons to be dumped into our land. So the community won and was awarded monies that created the Greenpoint Environmental Fund. That was going to be for environmental projects in the community. And the legacy project of that community was a brand new library branch for Greenpoint. That's the third iteration of the branch. So there was that, and there's also going to be a dedicated staff member to work on environmental issues. That's moi. And a 5-year grant to support environmental programs, with a portion of that money going to build this tool library.
Yeah. So Brooklyn Public Library, we have 1,300 employees. We serve the 2.6 million people of Brooklyn, as well as any resident of New York State. And we do that in 62 branches. At BPL, our Library of Things offerings include musical instruments, vinyl records, board games, artwork, and of course, tools. So our tool library was born out of an incubator program, which is a competitive annual BPL grant for staff to develop, implement, and enhance offerings for our patrons. So in 2022, a few years ago, we were awarded this grant of $10,000 for our program, Repair Hub. So in that program, we worked with community partners, creating a year-long series around repair and maintenance, skill sharing, such as how to take care of clothes, how to fix our bikes, furniture repair, lamp repair, small appliances, just general basic home repairs. Part of this grant funded the purchase of tools to facilitate these programs. So it purchased the tools. It also found skilled repair coaches to pay to run them. We knew all along that this was a way for us to seed the tool library and create buy-in from BPL leadership. By participating in the incubator program, we showed how a tool library could be a wonderful community asset and how it could work in a large library system.
And so before I was hired in this role, and while the new library was under construction, I had pitched the idea of the tool library to the previous branch manager, as I knew that this would be a wonderful community resource and they would benefit from it. And our community especially, we knew would support it. And so I joined the tool library and the Library of Things Google groups, learning from the posts and the queries. And I found the Share Starter, how to start a lending library toolkit. And I started calling tool libraries around the country to ask how they started theirs. And that was before I got this job. I just really wanted a tool library in our community. So flash forward to the completion of our incubator grant and our immersion and research and development of how to do it. And that was in 2023. So we started with outreach, tabling and creating online polls to find out what tools the community would like to borrow. And in those polls, we asked patrons if they had skills to share and if they could follow up with them in the past and future for skill sharing opportunities. And we spoke with our colleagues already immersed in Library of Things at BPL, like Harold, and how they could lend their collections so that we could work to have similar lending policies, creating continuity. And we did more research on best practices for lending tools in our other public libraries. I think I'm off one slide. But that's okay. As a library dedicated to environmental issues, we knew that this tool library could eliminate the necessity for people to own individual tools. And in doing so would promote sustainability and accessibility and equity for our patrons, not able to afford these expensive items, and giving the patrons the tools and the education to work on their own projects and to fix broken household materials, as Rebecca was talking about, that would not only promote environmental sustainability, but also a sense of self-reliability. And this would be a local advancement in resource sharing, waste reduction, and community skill building. And so we didn't have to recreate the wheel, but we did have to do a great deal of work to bring it into our library setup. But thankfully, as mentioned, we have a large library system, and we had the support of several departments to help us make this come to fruition. So, spreadsheet.
So yeah, first we made purchases based on our previous polls and surveys asking the neighborhood what they were interested in. Also, the research from other tool library offerings. We decided on the best way to label, store, and house the tools given our spatial constraints. This is kind of a smaller branch. Our tools are kept in storage since we don't have the room to make them accessible for browsing. We coordinated with our OPAC team to have all the tools brought into the backend catalog while simultaneously working with our web apps team to bring them to our website on the front end. After that, we workshopped what pertinent information should be on the landing page, such as information about the lending policies, frequently asked questions. We worked with our book ops department to catalog the tools and decided on 4 different categories of tools: hand electrical tools, power tools, AR monitors, and garden tools.
Yes. And we work with our legal team. Very, very important for a liability waiver, which was really important.
Scary.
There it is on the left. Yeah. And our marketing team to help us create assets for our tool info cards, our webpage, posters, postcards, and other outreach materials. We worked with our customer experience team to unify our unify our lending policies, as mentioned, with other library things in the system. BPL does not charge late fines, but we follow our current policy to fine for the full price of an item if not returned. So though some of our library things like board games do interlibrary loan, we do not. We decided that holds and returns had to be solely made at our branch. And though we feel that this is indeed a barrier for patrons not close to the branch, it has helped, we believe, in tool retention. And our hope is other branches could hopefully replicate what we've done and not recreate the wheel, since we've already done all this work for it, and host tool libraries in other parts of the borough. Our current policy is for 1 week for Lens, with the option to renew for 1 more week if there's not a hold on the item. And though this is a tight turnaround, we figured it was better for us to make it a shorter lending period then. If it became clear that we needed to extend it, we could, because it's always easier to give more down the road than to take things away, right? So we created a workflow of how to do circulation, given our building's points of reference. We spoke with staff at many meetings to let them know what the workflow would look like and make time for questions, because there are going to be a lot of questions, to ensure that there was staff buy-in and clarity around this new library resource. And we taped, the lending policies and FAQs to the ref desks for quick reminders and for visiting staff to refer. And we purchased books on tools and repair for a reference collection that we use in programming and for patrons to browse on site. And so one of the most time-consuming things to do for this project was creating individual ID cards for each item. This card goes out with every single item to help do checkouts and serve as an identification tag, because definitely not everybody in this branch knows what every tool is or what it looks like. So as you see, the card has a picture, a list of tool components, pertinent lending policies, the barcode, a QR code to manual if applicable, and another QR code to a video. Cry of screaming babes. To another video resource teaching somebody how to use the tool, often a YouTube video. There's a lot of, and this took a lot of time to vet, because there's a lot of extreme bro tool videos out there. And we want tool usage to be approachable and inclusive and make people feel, like they could do it too. So that took a lot of time.
So after all that, we officially opened the tool library on April 1st, 2024, after about 5 months of development and preparation.
Yeah.
Well, as a library, we don't keep records of our patrons' checkouts, of course. But given the nature of these items, we decided that we did need a spreadsheet of checkouts as we fulfilled the holds. This has been helpful and pertinent when a tool has not been checked out properly or something's gone missing. We maybe have to do a little sleuthing to figure out where the tool might be, where the one item in the bag, something like that.
Disappear.
Yes.
Disappear.
It's been an easy way to find out which tools are borrowed the most and has informed which tools to add to the collection based on usage. So we decided to set boundaries on the frequency of hold fulfillments, as there's only 3 of us on the tool team. So we've had to maintain messaging to patrons about how things are available. For example, about 6 months in, we had to change the message on the website. The status of the tool originally had been listed as check shelves, like available. People were showing up thinking that it was available, like right in person.
Lies.
Mhm.
Lies.
Yes. So we changed the status to, was it?
In storage.
In storage.
Sorry, in storage.
And this just helps set expectations for patrons. They say like, oh, it's in storage. It could be off site. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows where it
It
is?
could be another building.
So patrons, so as they were coming in expecting that they could check it out right away, now they don't expect that so much. This is just a really important pivot to help clear up a little confusion.
Clarity.
Yes.
Expectations.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. They don't read everything, but we can at least point to something that says
Right. No.
in storage.
I know.
Away.
Yeah. And sorry,
Mhm.
I have something funny on there. I've got all these like highlights. Just ignore this. Here I'll speak to customer service action we make to ensure tools come back or help do that. We receive a monthly list of tools that have been billed to patrons from our ILS analyst team, which is kind of cool. We then email those patrons a friendly reminder to return their tool, that their account is blocked, and importantly, that we can only continue to support this resource. That it's a community resource, and we can only continue to offer it if the tools are returned in a timely manner. If no email is listed on the account, I will personally make a phone call. And we have found that this type of customer service has been highly effective. People bring stuff back, but sorry, people bring it back. In the 2 years of the tool library, we have only lost 3 tools to one checkout, to one individual a year and a half ago, and he still gets an email or a postcard from me from time to time because we really want our hammer drill back, right?
There it is.
There it is. Sorry, and it's in storage. It's a bit of a hot mess, but it's our hot mess, and we know how it all works. So.
Bigger on the inside. So to date, we've had about 1,400 tool holds. 900 of them have actually been checked out and circulated, out of about 140 tools total that we own. We've noticed an issue that many other, I'm sure, Library of Things can understand: patrons not picking up their holds at all. Some items have a long wait list. And one of our theories, of course, would be like a patron might put a drill on hold. By the time their hold is fulfilled, perhaps several months later, they don't need it anymore, but they never canceled the hold. And the hold is, they have a week to pick it up. So when they get a notice that it's ready for them, they have a whole week to pick it up. If they don't pick it up within a week, that just slows everything down for the next person as well. So we've noticed with the popularity of the program that this is happening more often. In this winter, we're working on different ways to help mitigate that.
Yeah.
So like all of you, I'm sure we wear many hats in the library, and this is not the only thing we do. It's just really frustrating to process so many tools to find half of them are not picked up regularly. Our system does send out an automatic, slightly generic message to patrons when their holds are ready. But as we've built capacity and enlarged our tool team, we're looking to send out individual emails to patrons to remind them to cancel their holds if they no longer need the tool. And find out that we're also looking for other ways to reinforce the idea that this is a community resource. We hope that this will save everyone's time, make sure that the wait lists are moving along.
Yes. Our time, everybody's time. So we always envisioned that the tool library would be part of supporting tool and repair programming. We started the Repair Hub with workshops and continued last year with a series of tool workshops such as routers and sanders, poking holes in things, how to use drills, impact drivers, hammer drills, cutting things, circular saws, jigsaws, and reciprocating saws. What can I do with this tool? Angle grinders, Dremels, and oscillating multi-purpose tools. So we have begun a new repair series with a community partner to teach patrons to fix things they own, like electronics and textiles and small home appliances. Our sustainability work at the GC is under the ethos of helping our patrons rethink their relationships to the things that they own and buy. And though we have become a society engaged in disposable culture, we can upend that by learning skills and fixing things instead of tossing them into landfill and buying new. And these workshops reinforce our commitment to creating a welcoming, gender and age inclusive learning environment that expands access to practical skills often restricted by traditional gatekeeping.
We've had some lessons learned. As mentioned, we had to pivot messaging about holds for patrons. We moved the location of the holds pickups to our second floor. The first floor is just so busy. It was overwhelming for the staff. We have to continually make sure that the staff knows our lending policies. We train all new staff, all visiting staff on the check-in, check-out procedures because there's several steps, including, signing a waiver. We still do have work to do on collection development and deaccessioning tools that aren't being used, and also working to find a reliable resource for tool maintenance when we can't repair things ourselves. We found that our most popular tools are power tools like drills, sanders, jigsaws, circular saws. We especially see a great need for drills at the beginning and the end of the month for when patrons are moving in and out of apartments. So this tool library really serves the idea that not everyone needs to own all the same tools. Most people don't need to use them all the time. In Brooklyn, most of us don't really have a lot of space, don't have a garage, don't have a workshop, and most folks just really need a tool for one discrete project, and we're hoping to support that.
Yeah, and we've found community feedback has been overwhelmingly supportive. We've received lots of positive comments. We've had a local news cover it. It was embarrassingly on local TV. We had a New York Times article last summer that highlighted us with other tool libraries as well. And we just had this patron put up this Google review for us that was so fun. He put in a rooftop sauna using solely our tools, and he made them from found materials and used our tools to do it. And we think we should be invited to that sauna. But also, like, on another level, our tools helped a dad build a room for his daughter so she could have her own separate bedroom. And we had this great opportunity during our tool workshops where we had this intergenerational family come in, and this septuagenarian grandma who had never held a power tool in her life. She got to she held several different power tools.
Use them,
and she gained confidence to drill holes in brick walls, which can seem overwhelming. So this has been a great project for us to learn how we may provide unique items for our patrons and support them with programming. We feel so fortunate that we've had the opportunity to create this library, the only tool library in a public library in New York City. So that is Brooklyn Public Library's tool library. If you are ever in New York City, please come see us. We would love to show you our space and share our, library, or connect and take you for coffee in Greenpoint. Get a donut. You can reach out to us there. And I dislike doing our Instagram shows all the stuff we do. It's not super chic, but you can check it out. And I'll be attaching a couple of more resources, some of which that Hazel shared earlier, but that's us.
So great. I have so many great notes of we need to share this more. Oh, we need to share that. So I don't want to start the questions yet though, because I have so many of them. And as always on this talk, we can keep everyone here all day. But so thank you, Acacia and Rebecca, so very much for everything you've done. I'm really excited to level up with you as we move forward here. I think you're doing such great things. And again, the more we can all share, I can't wait to learn from your workshops and your list, your resources that you connect people to. I know we are working on that right now with getting a YouTube list, and I would like to put your YouTube list on our Lot Mutual Aid page, because that way, together, if we all start putting our resources there, we don't have to take all that time to do. Right now, I have three volunteers. I'm going through tool library videos around the world, just for all our 1,500 things. So if we get yours, again, this helps everyone. So then all the rest of y'all can be either one, I don't like your video, Hazel. I'm making it better. And I'm like, yes, and we'll put it on. Or two, you can be like, I don't have time to get a video. I'm stealing that one,
That's
which
a good idea.
Great.
either way, a good thing, right?
Yeah.
So that's just one example how together organizing, I think we can scale good things. Um,
Great.
so, Harold, I would love to just have you speak a little bit about your work, if you don't mind, at the library. You lend out the musical instruments, which if you guys haven't, I'll put the link in when I'm done chatting. If you haven't checked out their if you haven't looked at their musical instrument collection, I really highly encourage you to do so. I think it's really impressive that's not done that many places in public library. I think Philadelphia is another one. I know we have one, PEI up in Canada. There's a couple of places in Europe that has such an extensive collection with things like, well, I think you have a zither. I'm not sure. I can't remember. Harold, will you tell us a little bit about your work with the Library of Things?
Okay. Yes. Thank you very much. Um, I'm a senior librarian in the Central Library of the Brooklyn Public Library. My function here is mostly we work in the Adult Services Division. We work in different divisions. We have the Art and Music Division, where's my main home base is. We also have to take the work in the Society, Science, Technology Division as well as the Language and Literature Division. And basically, we're always moving around a lot, so we're not always there to see every problem. But we do have to train our staff for a lot of things for each collections. Anyway, we besides doing the musical instrument lending library, I also run the orchestra collection where we loan out orchestra music and big band music to local orchestras, big bands, and stuff like that. That's a whole different program altogether, which I'm not going to get into because they have totally different rules and policies.
I'm learning all about this. I might ping you on that later though, Harold, because
Okay.
especially Kelsey and I and a few others of us, I think Lydia maybe too, we want to go down a cataloging geekdom on Library of Things. So it sounds like you might fit right into that. So on
Okay.
another time.
Yeah. Anyway, so I do that. Plus, I handle the sheet music and music scores at a library. We're the only library that has those kind of materials for the most part. Very specialized. Most of our orders are not. We order our materials through Ingram, which is our vendor, and of course, for certain materials we have to do direct orders. So we go through we have a department here in Brooklyn Public Library called Book Ops, where we we place orders, we do material selection, and we also do acquisitions, and they also do our cataloging as well. And this is how the musical instrument lending library works. So the musical instrument library started back in May 2017. We actually began looking at started this through Brooklyn Incubator, like the Tool Library. We someone came up with an idea that why should we just lend books and like DVDs? There's other materials that we should be lending as well. And our supervisor at the time told us, well, why don't we come up with something for music? So we already had the orchestra collection, so we couldn't do that. So we came up with the idea of lending musical instruments because we already had a partner that I'm working with, and that's the Brooklyn Conservatory of Music. That's our main community partner. And so that was an immediate connection we had to start with. We came up with some ideas. We got some info and got some information on what were patrons asking for, or what kind of instruments they were asking for the music scores and for musical instruction. So we have a lot of how to play flute, how to play piano, keyboard, piano, guitar, electric guitar, percussion of all kinds. I'll answer your question later about the wind instruments, but not at this moment. So we came up with some instruments to start with. We came up with a proposal to start with about 20 instruments to begin with. And we went to see where they would be available. So we purchased our instruments through Guitar Center, and which is right down about 5 or 6 blocks from the Central Library, which is the main hub of the Brooklyn Public Library. And we thought we can get some instruments there, so we did. We also tell what kind of where would we actually put the instruments, store the instruments. So we found a few places. We were located on the Central Library is now going through big renovations now, so we've had to move a lot. So we've had to also change a lot of policies as well. So we found a space down below, about 2 floors below below the lobby. We call them the decks, deck 3 actually. Little closet where we used to have the sewing machines and the stuff in the fiber arts program. But that got canceled, so we decided we took that over. Then we also started to get some ideas. We spoke to the librarian at Free Library of Philadelphia, where we got some ideas there. We took a few of their policies, but we changed a few things as well. And they don't lend wind instruments as well. And after we got their ideas, we brought it back. We came up with how much we were going to spend. We were offered after we proposed all this. We went through the incubator judges. They told them what we needed, and we told them that some of the things like we like repairs and stuff. When we have the money which would be for purchasing instruments for repairs when necessary. We do a lot of our own repairs for the instruments when we can. Otherwise, we send them off to Guitar Center, or we also have insurance with them as well. So for the instruments, so if they get damaged or they lose materials, we can get some kind of coverage. But it's a limited warranty though. We get 3 years, 3-year warranties. Then we have to renew it every 3 years. So we had that. But we also had decided whether we take donations. So we started taking donations as well. And through the donations, we acquired about up until 85 instruments at this time.
Whoa.
But we started out with 20 though. And the majority of them are now donations now. So I don't have visual presentations because we've had a lot of changes we had to make. But I do have a flyer here.
Love it.
Illustrating some of the instruments that we currently have. And yeah, so we went through the judges. We told them everything. They asked about what are we going to do after we get the instruments? What about further instruction, how to teach the instruments? Well, we started out with our partner. They were going to help us with giving lessons for now and for a discount. So they charge money, of course. We can't do it for free. One of the reasons why we started this program was because people want to lend instruments. They want to borrow instruments. They want to try it out first, without spending money to borrow the instruments. So after that, we saw them, let them test drive it. If they like it after they borrow for 3 weeks, they can go further and study further, take some lessons. We did. So they started doing that, but then it became a little costly. So we decided. So now we started to start having programs as well. And by the way, I'm going back and forth on a lot of things. But so we came up with that after a while, after we got the $10,000, covering repairs, purchase costs, marketing, and additional supplies, such as additional accessories like strings, extra hair on the violin bows, rosin, electrical equipment, and extra drumsticks when they get lost.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, we also have to do a lot of, we also use our insurance to help cover some of the cost of repairs and replacements. And if they don't, we now have a display of instruments. Now we display for the library in our current division. In our swing, we do that now. Let's see. We have a web page with all the collection of instruments, and it's going very well, very popular. They can lend out. When we started out, after we began the program, we had on May 17th, we had an opening session where everybody had a chance to try the instruments. And if they were on this, and then we every instrument that was on display was checked out immediately afterwards. And they were able to borrow for 2 months at a time to start with. But then it got too popular. The holds were becoming so popular that we had to we lessened the time period, so there's more people, so the hold list would decrease a little bit. We weren't going through Sierra initially, but then we started emailing everybody and giving out a form and everything. But then our circulation department said, let's get involved now. So now they're involved. So then we went to Sierra. We started loaning for 4 weeks at a time, and then we thought, let's be consistent with everybody else. Our policy for books, which is 3 weeks at a time. Now we do 3 weeks for the instruments, and they can renew it after, provided there are no holds on the instruments. And some of the lists are very long, and our most popular instruments are the keyboards, especially the digital piano. There's like 80 holds on like 6 or 7 of them that we have. And then we have instruments like the violin, which are very popular too. Some have 40 holes on different instruments. We recommend they do bib holds rather than item holds, because bib holds you have more choices of instruments, and the hold lists get decreased as a result. Problem is we have so many different, and we've had them all cataloged through Book Ops. We couldn't send them out there to do it because it was too big. It was no way to transport them. So we just took photos and sent them the information to the Sierra, and they cataloged it for us, each of the instruments, gave them all the specifications, and we did that. And we have help. I have help on the staff. I'm not the only one. There's three other librarians that are helping actually on this, and one of them is a clerical staff actually, and he's the one who handles like a lot of circulation and the records for the patrons and stuff. All checkouts and returns are done at Central Library. They are done in the Art and Music Division on the second floor, our temporary space. We're going to get a new space very soon. We are going through renovations, and we had to move our collection from Deck 3 to Deck 1, which is 4 floors below. The only problem is, the disadvantage of that was the elevator goes down. We had to suspend the service temporarily, which we did, and now we're back up again. It actually was this week where we had to suspend the service. So they couldn't check out the instrument. Well, you'd have to travel four floors down to get the instruments, and they were too heavy for some people. They could return them, but then we had to wait to bring them downstairs. And that was one of the disadvantages of our space that we had. But we are currently now having, so now we do that, and we're back to 3 weeks, and we have a lot more instruments. We have instruments from Persian style instruments as well that are not on this list because they just came in. They were donated by a Persian who really wanted to highlight those instruments and have them circulated, let them know. And we have. They're all checked out basically. We have a lot of different ukuleles besides not just one type. We have the concert, soprano, and tenor and baritone ukulele. Violin, we have the regular 4/4 size, and then we have we have children's sizes as well. So instruments are basically checked out on adult library cards because we thought it's part of the adult service division, and also because we thought adults are a little more responsible. But children can take it out if they're with an adult. And we also have different percussion instruments, tambourine, maracas, wood blocks, claves, cowbells. Then we also have electric drum pads, steel drums, snare drums, and snare drum stands. We also have stands as well that we loan out as well. We have amplifiers for guitars, electric guitars, electric bass, and we also have classical acoustic guitars and acoustic electric, which are used for both acoustic and electric interchangeably. And we also have violin. What else do we have? What else am I leaving out? Ukulele, triangle, bongos, banjos, and it's becoming very popular. Now, checkouts are done at the Central Library only, and returns are only done at Central Library. There are no appointments. We don't have appointments. You just come in during library hours, but we don't want you to do it Monday through Saturday, not Sundays, though, because we have Sunday staff who are not trained, so we really can't have them check out or return instruments if they're not trained. So we do it then, and we for all staff when they check out the instruments before they have to check all the parts. They come with little luggage tags. They indicate what's on the instruments, such as the case, the violin itself, the rosin, the bow, the straps, the chin rest, all that stuff. And if when they return it, we have to check for that stuff as well. If for some reason they don't have it, they can still return it, but they get charged on their card for the instruments. Like all, we don't have fines or anything, but if they return the materials late, then they get notification through Sierra for each month, and then they get charged for the instrument. They get charged for the cost of the instrument. And once they do that, they basically can't check out any of the library materials because the cost of the instrument supersedes that basically. You have to have less than $15 on your card before you can check out any materials, including instruments. But if you got an instrument, you can't do that. But we put the cost of the materials manually. Of course, when they return the instruments, those fines get waived. So that's a good thing. Of course, they cannot return stuff to the other branches, but some patrons do. And then we tell them that we can't ship them, so we tell them they have to bring it back. They have to bring it back from the branches they returned it, and then we can turn it. And then we charge for, well, they get charged. They don't get charged for it, but we ask for it back. We do email them to remind the patrons to do that, of course. We don't remind, we mostly do email reminders for patrons if they are overdue. We do it ourselves. We have their emails and stuff like that. We can look them up on their card. So we do that. Now for instruction, we have instruction. We have a recording studio at the Central Library actually, where patrons can, if they don't take out the instruments, they can actually practice their instrument in the library. It's in the Information Commons, which is on on the first floor lobby, and they have to reserve it. They got their own policy there, how it works. They need to have some kind of ID, like a driver's license, to use it, and they have to have a library card as well. And that they can practice in there for about 2 hours at a time. Sometimes people can give lessons in there also. We don't have a lot of quiet areas, so that's why we don't have a lot of space for them to practice. We do have the Dweck Center, but there's always programs going on down there, so we can't do it when there's programs. But that's why we have the recording studio for that. And they have headphones. It's not 100% soundproof, but it's quiet. It's quieter than the rest of the library. And we recommend they have headphones there to use when they practice and stuff like that. We now have programs to enhance some of our instruments. We were doing recorders for a little bit, but we didn't actually circulate them because we're not. Oh, I'll get to that now. Here's our past program, music you can create, and this is where you can create music on the spot, and we gave out free recorders at the time to keep, and they learned a few notes and stuff like that, and like a little instruction. But we had to change that because we changed our location. We now do our programs in the Dweck Center now when we can, and now we do keyboard instruction in the library. Sorry, I wasn't able to post all this. And we had programs this past fall, and they learned how to they learned some basic instruction, learned how to learn some scales, and they learned how to create music on the spot within within an hour at a time. And we've had that with other instruments as well. We had that with steel drums, Latin percussion. We had it with guitars, and we're having some more with electric guitars as well. And we had it with different. What do we have? We have banjo instruction and ukulele instruction as well. We are not. As for the answer about wind instruments, incorporating wind instruments, we try to do that. We took some information down, and administration told us no, because for a couple of reasons. One is hygiene. They said because of hygiene and COVID, we weren't allowed to do it. And they said, well, what about cleaning it? Well, because some of us, we had someone that was actually willing to help clean some of the mouthpieces and supply the mouthpieces. They said no, because we don't want to take that chances anyway. And there's also we were going to train staff in doing that, and staff didn't want to be trained. So we really weren't able to incorporate any wind instruments for the session. Free Library of Philadelphia does not incorporate that either. However, we did find out other libraries in the area do have musical instrument libraries, such as one in New Jersey, actually. They incorporate a few instruments like flutes and trumpets, but not heavy instruments like tubas and baritones and string basses. But there they did some kind of cleaning, but it's been okay, but not as successful as the other instruments. And other libraries in the area do have this program, but Brooklyn has the biggest one in the area, New York City area. New York Public, I don't know if any of you know this, but New York City has 3 different library systems, public library systems. Each of them have separate rules, separate policies, and separate collections. With Brooklyn Public Library is one of them, 62 branches. Queens Public Library has like 83 branches. And then the New York Public Library has I'm going approximately, I don't have the information in front of me, about 123 branches. That includes Manhattan, the borough of Manhattan, Staten Island, and the Bronx. But they don't have this program. That they were wondering why. I said, well, they know how much work it was, and they didn't really have the space or anything like for that. And I discussed with them about that too. But,
I love it, Harold. This is awesome. I wish I had met you years ago when I started looking into this. You would have saved me so much time. But this is why we're doing this, right? Is because together we're going to help level each other up, right? And save each other time and do this. This is a quick question that came through from Marley. Do you provide tuners with all your instruments, or do you check out a tuner separately?
Tuners are actually supplied with some of the instruments.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, in most instruments do have tuners. We do have a few, but the amplifiers are not checked out separately though.
Yeah.
And the digital reverb is also, which is like another kind of amplifier, is also done separately as well. We also have music stands that are also checked out separately as well. And we do not check out instruments without cases, so we have to have cases returned as well. And all parts have to be included. That's my general philosophy in general with all collections.
Amazing.
Yeah,
so here's the problem with good humans like you guys doing innovative things. I could talk to you all day long, and I'm not joking, but I just checked a look at the watch, and we have 10 minutes left, which is what I promise always for questions, especially with like your folks' innovative branch in Brooklyn Public Library. I should have known that we could have gone on forever. So I want to just open it up unless Harold, do you have anything else that you wanted to be sure that you added here?
No, I think I'm done at this point.
Oh, you're nowhere close to done. I've got follow-up questions for you. Let me tell you, I got plans. In Acacia and Rebecca, I've got like 4 action items for you I'm following you up with. But anyway, because folks, it's changed the world here. But that being said, We've got 10 minutes. So I want to make sure if you're new to this call, it's very informal. Please unmute yourself, ask a question. If you don't want to do that for whatever reason, you can type it in. And then, yes, that was my question for our two speakers. If we need to know more, want to know more, because we want to copy you or we want to collaborate with you in the future and say, hey, could we do a more, could we talk a little bit about something that's really impressed me about both of you, all of you, is that you all have done programming with your library of things, which I think some of us do and some of us don't, but I know it's a need that people would love to learn more about. So, if you are willing to, would you be willing to field questions from other folks if we had questions after it? I notice that Acacia and Rebecca, you put information in the chat with your contact. Is it okay if folks reach out?
We encourage it.
Yes, yes,
Yay.
of course.
Yay, I hope you saw you're getting applause. Oh, and the recording for the Zoom will be posted on the Lot Mutual Aid group. So we have over 2 years worth of recordings now, I think, or close to that. It's close to that. It's something insane. Time flies when you're having fun. And we're keeping going. I'm scheduling people through July now. So if there's someone you would like to hear from, please let us know because, and often from this, we have other things that come out of it and that folks want it. So for example, there's going to be tours at PLA and ALA, both. For lot librarians, we are also going to try to make sure to have some online opportunities going forward. And we want you, whatever you do, we want you. It's an open door. You're welcome to be a part of it. None of us are making big bucks from this. This is all volunteer, but you are so welcome to join. And with the hope that we, change the world and do some good. So yeah, on the Lot Mutual Aid group. So questions, does anyone have any? Because if so, I have a few. Yes, go Hannah.
Hi, thank you guys so much for doing this today. It was really wonderful. It's always nice to see something that's being done on a large scale library basis. So I'm at a smaller rural library and it's really cool to see how we can translate certain things. I am at a small rural library, but our population fluctuates a ton. So it goes between 5,000 in the winter to like 150,000 in the summer. It's insane. But so we do have like some tools, some musical instruments. We have all that fun stuff. We really try to stay up to date with what our community needs. And you touched base a little bit about this, Acacia and Rebecca, but I was wondering if there's like a guideline or a resource that you can use about what you legally can have in your library of things. I don't know if that came up with your tools. You touched on like having a legal team.
Right.
My question is specifically, I'm vamping up my caregiver library of things. So if you have someone visiting you and I'm a children's librarian, and if people don't have a baby monitor, a baby carrier, a bassinet, like things like that. And so I'm just like doing more research into legally what I can and can't have when it comes to like, I can't circulate a car seat because
Right.
of, you know what I mean?
Expirations on cars.
Yeah.
Liability. Yeah. I will say, and Harold, I'm sure will have something to say about this too, but we kind of decided what we wanted to have and were never told no. And the only thing that was jokingly said was we can't have a chainsaw, even though I think a chainsaw is fine.
That'd be really helpful, actually.
It would be very helpful. But then also, again, we're in an urban environment where we've got a lot of people. And sometimes my supervisor was like, you have a circular saw? And I was like, yeah. So to answer your question, I will be honest, we didn't ask for permission. We just had we have a really tight liability waiver that we use. And
we can share that.
Yes. And I don't want to say we're independent operators. We definitely it's public, like everything's on our website, but we, like we said, we looked at what circulated in other tool libraries, and we thought about what our patrons would want, and also what people requested. So we did not ask for permission.
Yeah, we didn't like have like a line item.
Right.
Like this is what we're purchasing. Do we get approval? There was a good amount of trust. We did have conversations with some of our, like the head of customer experience, and you chatted with the head librarian a number of times.
Yeah.
But
I can imagine it's different though with the board and having to
Yes.
ask for that. But
Yeah,
I,
we have a very supportive environment where
good.
we're just pretty much like trying to cover us if anything were to ever happen.
It's
you know.
always like thinking like what could be like
Could
this
go
seems obviously like it should be fine, but
Yeah.
we're always going to like slightly possibly misuse something. So
Yeah.
having the waivers, how we get around like
Yeah.
feeling too worried about things.
And I'm sure there's lots of waivers out there, but if you ever want our waiver, we can share it with you. And we're not worried.
Yeah.
You know, we have I don't know. I just feel like we're not worried about, people are pretty litigious, but I feel like we haven't had any problems so far. So I hope that helps you. And we just do it. And
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you guys so much. I'll definitely
How
reach
large
out.
is your staff? I might ask.
We only have not 8, almost 9. We're about to have 9 full-time staff, and we have like 25 part-time staff. We have like a bunch of part-time staff, which is really nice because it is so seasonal here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to jump in on this one. So one, we can connect you to people who do lend children's stuff. We have 2 lectures on that coming up specifically, and a tour of that. And then 2, if you ask that type of question, that's a perfect question for the listserv. Because a lot of us can give you detailed knowledge on that one because we've been there. And it's different in every state and with whoever your insurer is. So some insurers will ask you each year to update your insurance policy with them, and other insurers don't care because you're a public space and they already have it covered with you. And so it really depends. It also depends on which type of baby item or child item that you're doing, especially with children. And there's different legal requirements for that. So that's the short answer on that one. I want to give a call for anyone who has to go. Yes, it is officially time, but presenters, if you can stay on for like 3 more minutes. I saw like 2 more hands come up, and if you can't, I get it. You got to go. So I'm gonna. If someone else has a question, you're welcome to ask it. Yeah, Kelsey.
Okay, so my question also has to do with liability, but so when y'all talk about having resources, like resource videos that you direct customers to for like how to use this tool, what is your criteria for choosing those videos? Because at least with my lawyers, we are not allowed to train customers on equipment or give them, like, we can't create our own tutorials or our own instructions or anything, because if we say something that is against the manufacturer or the manual, we void our liability side of the waiver. So how do you choose those resource videos?
Okay. I love this question, Kelsey, and I wish that I could tell you that we had a rubric, but we went through them, tried to find we used YouTube videos. And I mean, that was just the quickest, easiest way to access the information. I would prefer to not use something like that has ads in it and things like that. But it was an easy way to find, especially some of our power tools that would have a manufacturer's video on it. But like I said, so many of those videos are, or somebody didn't have a video from the manufacturer, so I had to go out and find somebody who was doing it. The criteria by choosing them was like watching them and making sure that they was a video where somebody can learn from start to finish how to use the tool. Also, I prioritize showing women showing the power tool instructions, and really just making sure that the videos were, I don't know, like the kind of thing that as library and information professionals that we felt good about sending out there. Do not have an issue around the liability of that. And on the side about like showing people how to use tools, that has not come up for us. We do programming around showing people how to have tools, and we don't make everybody involved has to sign a liability waiver every time they are involved in any of our workshops around repair or tool usage. And on a couple of occasions, I have shown a patron when they've come in and they wanted to use a tool and they don't know how to use it. And I don't, go full on with, I'm not pulling out the circular saw and showing them how to use it, but I will show them how to use them if it is deemed safe, So I hope that helps. The other thing is like making sure that links aren't broken, for our is another consideration that I've got to that's like on the task of things to do. But I mean, that's the best, like when we were workshopping this, that's something we were like, some people are not going to have any idea how to do this. And we will look.
And we do not claim to be experts. I don't know. I also don't know what I can do we had a program called, what can I do with this tool? Because there were tools with names that sounded like foreign language to me. So, as librarians, we always say like, we don't know all the answers, but we can find the right answer for you.
And we look forward to other,
trying to improve that over time. But for now,
we're still doing it. And also if anybody else has any resources or ideas about how to best find videos, we too are always looking for different ways to do it than just searching, Ryobi drill and trying to find the best one for that. So,
I mean, I love Hazel's comment about like coming up with a group funded, not funded, but
a big spreadsheet of all the resources.
Yeah. And then we can,
but I'm sorry that you have to, you can't show, you can't show, but not everybody can do that. Not everybody has capacity to show people, but I think that's what the programming is for, and having a liability waiver for programming to be able to show. I hope that they would let you do that eventually.
Yeah, this has come up before, and you'll see it again on the listserv. Thank you so much, Acacia, Rebecca, and Kelsey, as you and I know. Great question, because it is something that I can tell you that in Maine, when we had the tool library, we had the exact same restrictions as Kelsey. But when I moved to the public library in Maine, again, in my area, in my location, we did not have those restrictions. And it was because of our differences in insurance providers. So, and it's an interesting discussion that's taking place nationwide. It actually deals with instruments too, because once you get into that spit thing, all of a sudden you're dealing with bodily fluids, right? So it's just like babies. So they all have kind of different views on that. Okay, well, that being said, it is 5 after. So as much as I would love to hang out with y'all all day, hopefully will make happen in the future. Harold, Acacia, and Rebecca, thank you so very much for volunteering your time and sharing this great stuff. I'm going to be in touch with all of you in the future. I think, again, together we can just help each other out. So thank you for being great humans doing some good work and volunteering and sharing with the rest of us to learn from. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Hazel. Thank you, and everybody for
love this community. It's very cool.
amazing.
Thank you for putting this
Thank
together,
you.
Hazel.
Thanks for having us.
Excited to explore more.
Yeah. Go team. All right. We'll see you on the list. And as always, if you can think of something better, or you can't get on Google or whatever, we're friendly. We want to help and we want you. So join us.
All right, thank you.